ॐ वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्. I salute Sri Krishna, the Jagadguru, the world teacher, the child of Vasudeva, the vanquisher of Kamsa and Chanura, and the supreme joy of Devaki. Today is the holy day of Sri Krishna's birth, nativity. It is called Krishna Janmashtami. Ashtami, the date of birth of Sri Krishna. Perhaps Krishna was born 2000 years before Buddha. That means it may be 2500 BC. We can easily think as the year of his birth. And he has left such a deep impression on the Sanatana Dharma of the Hindus that people belonging to the Sanatana Dharma, about 140 crores in India and outside India, there can be no comparison at all with the impact that Sri Krishna has left with any other incarnation. He has become the Supreme Brahman himself. Sri Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. He is the Bhagavan, the Brahman himself. This is what other scriptures say about him. So it is customary in our tradition of the Ramakrishna mission that on this day of nativity of Krishna, birth of Sri Krishna, the Krishna Janmashtami, we recollect some of his sports, divine sports, incidents of his life just before his birth and after his birth, up to this stage when he goes and kills Kamsa and starts a new era, a new epoch of peace, prosperity and spirituality. So we will try to recollect as many incidents like of his life as possible in the short period we have before us. Sri Krishna's birth and his life up to the killing of Kamsa has got a number of very interesting incidents. Sri Krishna has become the avatara of Dwarka, Dwapara Yuga, the epoch of Dwapara. Dwapara is the epoch that has gone before Kali Yuga. End of Dwapara, the Kali started. So he has become the greatest avatara of the Dwapara Yuga. As soon as we say the name of Krishna, Bhagavan Sri Krishna, we remember Sri Ramakrishna. He always used to say Bhagavan, Bhagavatam and Bhakta. All the three are one. We are going to today recollect incidents that are elaborately described in the Bhagavata Purana, Srimad Bhagavatam. So whenever we tell this name Bhagavatam, Sri Ramakrishna's statement, Bhagavatam, Bhagavan and Bhakta, that is the treatise Bhagavatam and God Sri Krishna and the devotee of Krishna or devotee of the Sanatana Dharma. All the three are one. It is not that he made a statement like that, just like that. He had a divine vision, he himself says. Sri Ramakrishna himself says, I saw in a vision Sri Krishna and a light proceeding from his lotus feet, going and touching Bhagavatam, and then touching the Bhakta, and then coming back to Sri Krishna. So then I understood, Sri Ramakrishna says, the devotee and the scripture and God all are one. We must have great respect for them. So that is what we should learn from his divine vision. So Sri Krishna is the supreme God, we should remember, and the life of him described in Bhagavatam is true. It is meant for all of us. And we who contemplate on Krishna, we ourselves are raised to the level of high spirituality, so that Krishna's light will be always falling upon us and leading us. The history or the story of Sri Krishna, because the history becomes a story after a very long period. As soon it is very near, we call it a history, and suppose some 1,000 years go away, then it becomes a story. So whatever you call it, the history or story of Krishna starts in the Bhagavata with two kings' names. One is Ugrasena. Ugrasena was the king of the kingdom of Mathura. He had a son, the prince, young prince. This fellow was a tyrant, unlike his father. Father was very kind-hearted, very good king, but his son was a tyrant, never followed the rules and regulations, and would inflict sufferings on all people. So that was his son. And another king's name is the Shurasena, whose son was Vasudeva. So this Vasudeva was betrothed to a girl called Devaki, who happens to be the daughter of the brother of Ugrasena. So Kamsa's cousin, so cousin father, that is Devaka, he had Devaki as his daughter. Devaki was a very beautiful young woman, and this marriage was arranged. Vasudeva was being married to Devaki, and the marriage procession had to go through the streets of Mathura. All preparations were made. So Kamsa wanted to show his special love for his cousin. So he said, I will myself take the reins of the chariot driven by horses. So Vasudeva and Devaki are seated there. Kamsa was driving the chariot. Unfortunately for Kamsa, unfortunately for all the devotees, there was a divine voice which said in a loud voice, said, what a fool you are driving this lady, whoever it may be, she may be related to you. The eighth child of this lady is going to be your assassin. He is going to kill you. Asyaste ashtamo garbha anta. The eighth child of this lady is going to be your killer. This was a terrible thing. So he could not bear. Immediately all his love vanished. The love that made him to take up the reins of the chariot, that all vanished because his life was in danger. So immediately he just drew out his sword from the scabbard, rushed at Devaki. I will kill her now itself, so that no issues are born at all. So the question of eighth issue did not arise. So he was such a fury. Vasudeva, the husband, the new husband of Devaki, just in his marriage procession, so he just rushed and stopped Kamsa from perpetrating any violence to Devaki. Then he pacified him, saying, look, the Ashariravani, the bodiless voice, the divine voice, has told you that the eighth child is going to kill you. But Devaki is not going to kill you now. So her child, when they are born, one after another, the eighth issue is going to kill you. Why are you right now going to kill her? So keep now peace Now let us see, and then I promise you, every child, as soon as it is born, I will hand it over to you. So you can do whatever you want with it. You can banish the child or kill the child also, as you want, but spare the life of Devaki. So Devaki's life was saved on that day, but Kamsa was not satisfied. He was afraid. Suppose this new couple flee the country and there their children are born. How to know when the child was born, whether it is 6th or the 7th or the 8th? So the 8th son will be born and then he may come and kill me. So let us put an end to this worry. He said, then in that case, Vasudeva and Devaki must be put into the jail. They will be under his lock and key. And one after other children are born, they will also under his care, under his mercy. This is how it happened. So they were put into the jail and 6 children were born, one after another. And Vasudeva, being a very, very honest person, so he brought each child and handed it over to Kamsa. And Kamsa was a very, very cruel person. He would throw the child into the air and hold his sword below it. And child would fall on this sword and cut into 2 pieces. It would fall on the earth. What a terrific sight. And one after another, 6 children were killed. And this couple had to bear all this torture. So the 7th child, there is an interesting story. 7th child was to be born. At that time, the scriptures say, Bhagavata itself says, the Lakshmana of the Treta Yuga, the epoch of Ramchandra. Lakshmana, he was the younger brother. And you know through Ramayana how Lakshmana was ordered, very unpleasant orders by Sri Ramachandra. Just for example, he was asked to ask Sita to get into the fire in Sri Lanka, and he had to light the fire, and then Sita was to be tested for her purity. So again, Lakshmana was asked to take Sita to the jungle and being left there when she was pregnant. This was also an order by Ramchandra. So all unpleasant orders I had to obey because I was the younger brother. So this time Lakshmana thought, I will be the elder brother, where he cannot order. But I want to be with Krishna. So he just thought, and he was a god. Straight away he went and got into the womb of Devaki as the 8th child, as the 7th child. So God saw, Vishnu saw what is happening. The 7th child, when it is born, Krishna is going to kill it. And therefore, he immediately ordered the Devatas, please remove him, carry him away from the womb of Devaki and put him into the Vasudeva's senior wife. He had an elderly wife, then Devaki was the second one. So, and Rohini, you take this boy from her womb, from the womb of Devaki, and put that boy into the womb of Rohini. Thus, the Devatas carried out the order. The child was carried away from the womb of Devaki to Rohini's womb. She was also in the nearby place called Gokula, and 7th child was born through Rohini. He became the elder brother. Later on we hear his name as Balarama. But here in the jail what happened? It was a miscarriage. So when Kamsa got the news, what happened to the 7th child? No, it was a miscarriage. So he was very much disappointed. If another child had been born, he would have killed that also. So he was disappointed and was waiting eagerly for the destined 8th child to come. The 8th child was really born in the month of Bhadrapada and in the dark fortnight, Krishna Paksha. And then on the 8th day of the dark fortnight, Ashtami Tithi, and at 12 o'clock midnight. So that destined day, Krishna was born in the jail. Actually, he was not born. The Bhagavata says, Avirasit, he appeared before Devaki and Vasudeva. He did not give any pain to his mother. He was there standing as a child before Devaki and Vasudeva. A little earlier to his birth, when he was in the womb of Devaki, Brahma appeared in the jail and then started praising the would-be eighth child of Devaki. He was telling the Lord himself is coming in the form of Krishna. He is going to kill all the bad forces, including Kamsa. So the whole world is going to be rid of all tyrants, etc. A new age is going to come, etc., etc. He praises. It is called the Garbhastuti, the praising of Brahma, of the child in the womb. So this Garbhastuti is famous. Then afterward, there is a very interesting thing, comparison with this to an incident in the life of Sri Ramakrishna. Sri Ramakrishna, when he was in the womb of Chandramani, the same Brahma appeared before her also. In the Ramakrishna, the great master, you read, very interesting. So Chandramani had conceived Sri Ramakrishna. When Sri Ramakrishna was in a room, one Devata, one god, demigod, came into her room and his face was red. Then Chandramani saw this Devata, this god. So she suggested to him, "Oh Devata, you have come into my room riding on a swan. The god that rides on a swan is Brahma. So you have come into my room by riding on a swan. You seem to be very tired. So shall I give you some rice cooked last night? It is there. You can eat and go." So Brahma, who feeds the whole universe, so he just smiled at her, and he also perhaps praised the Lord, which perhaps Chandramani did not understand. He disappears. So Brahma is the leader of all the Devatas. All Devatas are very happy that Krishna is taking birth. So Brahma comes and then praises Sri Krishna in the womb of Devaki. After he left, then Krishna appears before the parents, Vasudeva and Devaki. Devaki sees in him, this little child, the spiritual redeemer of the whole world. She says, man is being chased by death. Man is afraid of his death. Only by going to you, by taking refuge under you, he can overcome the fear of death. That means he will become immortal. So Devaki praises him like that. But the view of Vasudeva is different. He feels that this whole society is suffering under the tyrant like Kamsa. So he should put down all these tyrant forces and bring peace to the world. So he praises the Krishna child that you are the redeemer of all the social ills. So both of them are very happy that he is born. He is in front of them. Suddenly Devaki remembers the Kamsa's approach. As soon as he comes to know, he is going to come with his sword unsheathed. So she immediately prays to Krishna, "Oh Krishna, please see that he does not know that you are born here." Then Krishna smiled and told her, "Nothing bad can come to me." And of course, he assumes the normal child's form. So they were all thinking it is a normal child. In the meanwhile, another divine voice is heard by Vasudeva. And then that divine voice says, "Take the child to the other bank, on the other side of the Jamuna, into the village Gokula, where the Nanda, the chieftain of the cowherds there, and Yashoda are there, and Yashoda has given to a girl child. You keep this child in that place and bring that girl child back into the jail. So this is the order of the divine voice. How to execute it? He is inside the jail. But when divine voice comes, the whole mind starts working in a different way. Vasudeva believed every word of it, that he should go and leave the child there, Krishna child, and bring that girl child back into the jail. He simply started moving out, and he found all the doors of the jails are open, are simply thrown ajar, and all the sentries are sleeping. There was no obstacle at all. He comes down to Jamuna, the river. It was in full spate, but when he goes to cross, it just divides itself into two, gives him a path to cross. So he crossed with this child on his head, or in a basket, goes to the other shore, walks the distance of 20 miles or so, gets into the Gokula, comes and sees there Yashoda with her girl child. There also the doors are all open. And then he goes straight and then puts the child there in the place of girl child, carries the girl child, comes back into the open jail. As soon as he entered the jail and put the child by the side of Devaki, Devaki is asleep, she does not know. Then the whole jail doors closed, sentries are moving about as if nothing has happened. It was morning then, the child started crying. When the voice was heard, there was Kamsa with his sword to kill the child. Then, as usual, he snatched the child away from Devaki, then threw it into the air and held his sword below it to cut it off. But what happened exactly? It did not come down. It started flying above, into the skies. So into the skies she went, and then she declared in a ringing voice, what is the good of killing children like me? That eighth child which is going to kill you is already born. I am not going to tell you where it is born, but he is already born. He has been your enemy birth after birth. So he is your Purva enemy. He is your old enemy. He is born, and somewhere I am not going to reveal. So stop killing any further children. And she disappeared with all the weapons of Durga. So she was with all the 8 Sayudashta Mahabhuja, the 8 arms of Durga with different weapons in it. So she disappeared. Then Kamsa was simply panicky. He said, what to do? Already my enemy is born and he is growing up. If I allow him to grow up, I am sure to be finished when he grows into an adult and comes and attacks me. So now itself I must make some arrangement to kill this child. But how to know where this child is? So he consulted the astrologers. Look, where can be this child? Can you let us know? Then the astrologers calculated and then said, if it is a divine child, as they say, so if it is a divine child, all the characteristics of a divine birth you can see in the village. There will be fruits and flowers in the unseasoned time. When the season is not there, then also the fruits will be there, flowers will be there. And people, whether they are old or young, whether there is inner reason or no reason, all are jumping with joy, dancing, singing. So if you see a village, know that Krishna child is there. So the Kamsa sent people and he identified Gokula, where Krishna actually was growing, as the village. Then he started sending demons after demons. The first demon, demoness, is sent was Putana. As you all know, this lady was a very terrific lady, treacherous lady. She assumed a form of a very beautiful young woman who was a young mother also. So, assuming the form of a young mother, she goes into Gokula. Straight she identifies the place where Krishna was, that is, in the place of Nanda and Yashoda, and seeing her beauty and her motherly features, all the other ladies are charmed. They did not say anything. She went straight into the room where Krishna was lying down in the cradle as a child, baby. She went and took the child and started breastfeeding him. And she has already smeared her breast with venom, very strong venom. One drop of it was enough to burn the child. So she took the child over her breast and started breastfeeding. Krishna, it is written in Bhagavatam, as soon as she came into his presence, he did not look at her at all. He closed his eyes. Chara charatma sa nimilitekshana. Nimilitekshana means closed eyes. So he closed his eyes, he did not look at her at all. What the meaning? The Pandits say, if he looks at anybody, that person immediately becomes a sinless person. All the sins are destroyed by one look of God. So suppose he looks at her, all the sins will go. But he is to kill her. She is a demoness. Came with the treacherous idea of killing him. So I must kill her. If I have to kill, she should be sinful, not sinless. That we closed his eyes. He did not look at her. When she started breastfeeding, he not only drank all the milk from the breast, started sucking all the blood in her body, left her bloodless and lifeless. So she died there. All people wondered at this miracle of this child, and also they came to know the plans of both Kamsa as well as this treacherous lady. So they became more and more alert. Now Krishna has grown up into a child. Then he should be named. A name is to be given. So the Guru Gargacharya was brought in. He named this child as Krishna. Krishna means who attracts all the sins and blemishes of others and then destroys them and leaves the person pure and saintly. So a person who purifies everyone. So he is called Krishna. So he gave the name Krishna. So one after another, so many divine sports we see. One of the wonderful incidents is eating of the earth by the child. You see, small children, they go and eat the earth. It is very natural, especially in the rural areas. In the rural areas, children are allowed free. So they just go out of the house and earth they put into their mouth. So this Krishna was just once seen eating the earth. Then all the other gopis who were the friends of Yashoda, they immediately reported to her, "What is this? Your son is eating earth there and you are keeping here inside the house." She ran out and saw this Krishna is sitting there with a mouth closed. Then she asked him, "Have you eaten the earth?" He said, "No." "What? All this the gopis are telling that you have eaten the earth? If I have eaten, those gopis are telling lies. But all of them are telling lies." Then he says, if you do not believe me, then I will open my mouth. There must be some earth. You will yourself see. He opened his mouth. And inside his mouth, what did Yashoda see? Not earth, the little mud or clay from the earth. It is the whole universe she saw. Whole universe of hills, dales, islands, and fire, earth, water, sun, moon. All the worlds, 7 worlds inside his mouth she saw. Simply she was dazed. Then she came to know this was not an ordinary child. This is a divine child. God himself is there. So this incident is a very famous incident in Bhagavatam. Then another day she wanted to punish the child. So she said, let me tie him to some stone. So she wanted to tie him with a rope. So the rope, though it was enough long, when she thought it was enough for to bind this, when she started winding, it became a few inches short. So she thought, what is this? So she brought another rope and then she added it to it through a knot and tied to it. So with the double strings also, ropes also, again a few inches short. Any number of ropes she brings, she could not tie him at all. So he revealed to her, you cannot tie it on your own will, but I will allow you to tie it. So he became quiet. Then she could tie with only one rope itself. So this is a famous incident. God comes down to the level of the devotee and fulfills their desires. Though it may be very simple, though he could have done it earlier, but he shows his glory also in doing all such things. So this Krishna is there now, growing up. He is going about as a cowherd boy along with the other boys. So when so many demons are coming one after another, the people thought, that is his parents thought, Nanda and Yashoda, what the good of being in this Gokula? Every morning a demon comes. So let us leave this village, go to another place. So shifted over to Vrindavana. So they shifted over to another village. That is also on the bank of Ganges only, and a few miles from Mathura, and where our ashrama etc. is there now. So there they settled down. There also so many divine sports are there. One of the divine sports mentioned in Bhagavatam is the crushing of the pride of Brahma. Brahma Garva Bhanga. What is this incident? So Brahma once thought, who is this Krishna? We hear so much. I hear it is God himself who has gone and taken birth as Krishna. Let me test whether it is God. So he came down, and when the cowherd Krishna, which is other cowherd boys, friends, he was grazing the cows. Brahma drove all the cows into a cave and then closed the cave. So no cow was seen outside grazing. Then Krishna found there no cows at all. He sent the cowherd boys, his friends, go and find out where our cows are there. When they went out and to search, Brahma hid all those people also in another one cave. So all the cowherds and the cow, they are all hidden. So neither cowherd nor the cows could be seen. Then Krishna, the Lord himself, he could guess who is doing this. Oh Brahma, you think you have got more brains than me. So he said, simply Krishna went back. What Brahma was expecting is, he goes without any cowboys, cowherd boys or the cows. The whole Gokula, whole Vrindavan will be full of sorrow and sadness and weeping by the parents. But when Brahma looks from above, all the mothers of the cowherd boys and parents, they are all so happy. Each child is appearing so loving. Their love is flowing towards them like anything. So they could not explain. Similarly, the cows, when they go, the cows are so much attracted to them. These cows, what has happened? Krishna himself has become the cows as well as the cowherd boys. when the God himself goes in the form of cowherd boys and the cows, because of that, their attraction is so much. So everybody is so happy with the cows and the cowherd boys, all God himself. Then Brahma's garva, his pride was crushed. So he comes and apologizes to God. I wanted to test your power. No, I'm very sorry for that one. Anyway, Krishna admonished him and let him off. So that is Garva Bhanga of Brahma. Then there is another one whose pride also had to be crushed, and that was Indra. Indra was being worshipped by the cowherd boys and girls annually by worshipping the hill called Govardhana. Govardhana hill was the representative, something like a symbol of Indra. They used to worship that hill. So when they were about to worship, Sri Krishna told them, why do you worship this hill? They said, no, we are worshipping Indra. So he is giving us rain, he is giving us vegetation, greeneries and everything. Therefore, in return, we worship him once in a year by worshipping the hill. Then he said, what can Indra do to you? Can he destroy all your sins, all your bad samskaras, and open the door for mukti, salvation for you? Kim indreneha bhutanam swasva karmanuvartinam. You are all tied down by your old impressions of sins, and these sins, unless they leave you, you cannot get into the infinite joy of freedom, infinite joy of mukti. Can Indra do that for you? If he cannot, what is the good of serving or doing worship to him? Worship me, he said. That means I can give you that. So this little boy, so they obeyed him. So they worshipped Krishna himself, and they did not worship the hill. Then Indra got the message, what? Who is this Krishna? He goes and then stops the worship of me, which is going on for years. Then he was simply furious, sent down rains and torrents. So the rains came in torrents over Vrindavan. It appeared as if the whole Vrindavan will be washed off. Then all the cowherd boys and girls, they went to Krishna, what is this? What has happened? Indra is sending all this tremendous rains here. Then Krishna said, don't worry, I will give you the biggest umbrella under which all of you can be very happy. And he lifted up the whole Govardhana hill at the end of his little finger of the left hand. That is the weakest part of anybody's body. The little finger of the left hand. With that little finger of the left hand, Krishna is said to have lifted up the whole hillock into the air as an umbrella. The whole village of Vrindavan, they had come prepared for a festival there. So they also done the festival, worshipped Krishna also. They all started dancing, singing, having a very joyful time. Then Indra was sending rain after rain. Then he's thinking that everybody is being washed away. There will be wailing. But when he comes, looks down and sees all people are dancing in mirth and joy. Then he comes to know he has offended the God himself, who is in the form of Krishna. Comes down, falls at the feet of Sri Krishna, apologizes for his mistake, and he is of course warned and then sent away. So like this, so many divine plays in the Vrindavan, earlier in the Gokula, all this takes place. Now we don't have much time, so we will come to the last part of our story, the killing of Kamsa. So Kamsa is sending one after another. All demons that were sent, they were all killed. None returned them, and none could take any action to kill Krishna. So Kamsa was simply planning how to terminate this child. Lastly, he thought of an idea. Let me hold a festival treacherous festival. In that one, if somebody, all that are invited, have to fight with animals first, then with strong people like wrestlers, then in the end they should fight with me. Then they will be awarded. So he sent the invitation to many people and included Krishna and Balaram also in the invitation. Then they were invited one Akrura, very good devotee of Krishna and spirituality. So he was sent to Vrindavan to bring Balarama and Krishna. Naturally, all the people, the Gopas and Gopis, they all cried, no, 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 we will not allow Krishna to go. Then Krishna himself told them, look, I have come to this world to do my duties. I have to put an end to these tyrants like Kamsa. I have to do my duty. Please don't obstruct me from going. So he pacified them. He reaches Mathura with Akrura. There in Akrura, in Mathura also, he finds some good people. He rewards them. Good people means one person was a tailor. So all good garments he used to make for the palace. All the garments he had made, he offered to Krishna and Balaram. So Krishna rewarded him. Similarly, one florist, he used to take a lot of good flowers for Kamsa. He said, what do I gain by giving to Kamsa? Take it. So he gave it to Krishna. He was also rewarded. So one lady who was very devoted, she was also working in the service of Kamsa. She was a hunchback one. She had a bent back. So Krishna made her straight and she became one of the very beautiful damsels. Then she was best like that. Like that he rewarded some good people, then went towards Kamsa as a part of the challenge. The challenge was called Dhanush Yajna, the sacrifice of the bow. So he went, first of all he has to take out a big bow and string it, which many people, no person who could do it. It was a very heavy bow, but Krishna lifted and stringed it. So people thought, this little fellow with less than 16 years at that time, he has just stringed this bow. Now we have to allow him to go further in this competition. Then he had to face elephants coming to fight with him. So when the elephant came, huge elephant, perhaps drunk also, then the brothers, Balarama and Krishna, tackled that elephant and killed it and took out both the tusks and held it as a mace. So they carried as a mace the two tusks of the elephant to show everyone the elephant is killed. So when Kamsa saw, what sort of a boys are these? Less than 16 years old, they have killed this elephant in fight. Then they had to face 4 wrestlers who were 4 times stronger than them and 4 times in age also. But he attacked all of them, these 2 brothers, killed all the 4 of them. So when they were finished, the last target of them was they had to fight with Kamsa. Then Kamsa with all his armory, he came to fight with them. Then he was vanquished and Krishna killed him. So that was the end of the tyrant rule. So Krishna, this is the story of Sri Krishna when he killed the Kamsa. That was the beginning of a new age. Immediately Sri Krishna goes to the jail where his father and mother are imprisoned. He releases them, he sends them to their own kingdom, and he also goes to the other jail where Kamsa has imprisoned his own father, Ugrasen. So he releases Ugrasen and hands over the kingdom to him. His son, his own son, had deprived him of his kingdom. So Ugrasen is made the king. He keeps nothing for himself. This is the story we read in the Bhagavata. We read it out in an occasion like this on the Janmashtami day. We are fortunate. We have done the same thing today also. If Krishna's life is a life of Purna Brahma, perfect Brahman. Sri Ramakrishna used to say, Krishna is a Purna Avatara. What he meant was, we don't know, but we see the harmony of everything in Krishna. So he harmonizes work and worship. So he harmonizes all the four yogas, Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Raj Yoga. And then he is on one side very worldly person, where worldly life he leads with all its duties, but with certain high morals. So on the same side, he is on the side of spirituality also. He stresses that the goal of human life is not worldly life or worldly prosperity, but it is God realization, self-realization. So he is the friend of the good, he is terror to the wicked, he is the inspirer of everyone through his bold message, whether it's for the worldly people or for the spiritual people who have left the world for spiritual pursuit. So his Bhagavad Gita is well known for its a broad spirituality it teaches. The whole world is very grateful to Bhagavan Sri Krishna for this one act of giving the Bhagavad Gita, the universal gospel of spirituality. So he was the person. He has left that Bhagavad Gita to us, in which he declares everyone is eligible to attain the highest spirituality after leading a good life in this world through a dharma life, a life based on dharma, righteousness. So he says in the Bhagavad Gita, Apiche Tuduracharo bhajate mam ananyabhat sadhureva samantabhyaha samyak vyavasito hisa Kshipram bhavati dharmatma shashvachantim nigacchati kaunteya pradjanihi name bhakta pranashyati. My devotee will never be left in the lurch. Whoever turns to me for help, I am always there to help them to reach the highest spirituality and eternal infinite joy and infinite life. That is the great message of Gita, message of this Jagat Guru, the teacher of the world. And he, after Krishna, a new age came in this pandemic in which we are all here now. Let us pray to Bhagavan Sri Krishna, please bring us a new age of peace, prosperity and spirituality. May we also live in the joy of both this world and of the eternal joy of the next world. Please bless us with Abhyudaya and Nishreyasa. Joy here, joy in the other world also. So may Sri Krishna and Sri Ramakrishna bless us all is my prayer. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsa Chanura Mardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadguru.